As you know, every Monday morning we do our leading market indicator Monday morning touch point, the single best leading market indicator in the entire Austin area MLS. This puts us in a position of knowing what's going to happen this week, what's been happening, what's going to happen in the near future when it comes to the market. Let's go ahead and go at it and start updating this information. Yo, I can't believe that Christmas is just a few days away. It's hard to believe it snuck up on us. Does anyone else feel like Christmas just totally snuck up on us? I feel that way. Let me go ahead and update this. Let me lower this. And here we have it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to update the previous week. So for some of the newer folks that are joining us right here, I want to show you what is it that we're looking at and why is this important. This is an Excel spreadsheet that we update. What we do is every week we track the number of new listings right there, that column number of new listings. Let me increase this a little bit. Let me see if I can increase. Okay, this is better, way better. Every week we update the number of new listings that entered the market. We've been doing this for a long time. And then the number of price increases, the number of price drops, the percentage ratio between price increases and price drops. BOM back on the market, the percentage back on the market. AUC stands for active under contract. Properties that accepted a contract, but they're still willing to accept a backup contract. That's AUC, active under contract. PB, pending. When an agent places the property pending, they're communicating to the entire MLS, don't show my property anymore. So we're not allowed to show pending properties to clients. We're allowed to show active under contract properties to clients, but not pending. And they're communicating to the entire world, we're not entertaining pending contracts. Then we've got the total under contract, the percentage of contracts that are pending as opposed to active under contract. And then we've got the ratio. The ratio is very simple. It's the percentage of properties new and back on the market divided by pending. That's all it is. New plus back on the market divided by pendings. As you can see the difference, anytime that ratio is over 1, that means that more properties left the market than entered the market. That means inventory is going down. Whenever the ratio is under 1, that means inventory is building up. So you can see that during the week of November 28th through December 5th, we had 178 more properties stay in the market than leave the market. Therefore, inventory built up. Last week, 47 in the negative. That means inventory went down. And then we've got the number of open house. So what we're going to do is we're going to update the open house data first. So we're going to update the December 12th through December 19th. Any guesses? Let's get some guesses going. How many open house opportunities were there in the past 7 days? What do y'all think? Let's get some guesses going. Write down some. Last time we had 3,106. Okay, lower, less than 3,000, Michael said. Let's take a look at it. From the 12th to the 19th, okay, we've got 2,500, 2,759. Oh, wait a second. Seth, you are very, very close, my friend. We are looking at 2,755. 2,755 open house. Y'all are very close. Very, very close. So now we're going to update this pending from last week. One thing to keep in mind, at 11:59 today, new, price increase, price drop, back on the market, and active under contract, they lock. At 11:59, at 23:59:59, those numbers lock. They will never change again. They don't change. What will change are the pending properties. Thank you. Pending properties will change. Pending properties will change for the next 4 weeks because agents are horrible about updating information. 90% of the change that will happen with the pending properties will happen in the next 7 days. And then 10% of the change will happen in the next 4 weeks. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and update that pending information. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the 6 counties. I want to remind you that when we update all this information, we update Travis, Williamson, Bastrop, Hayes, Caldwell, and Burnett counties. It's the 6 county area that we pulled information from. I don't like to grab all of the MLS when I'm updating this new listing to pending ratio. And we're going to go from the 5th to the 12th. From the 5th to the 12th, we need to change that number to exactly 400. So there we have it. Let me go ahead and update the previous week. From the 28th to the 5th, 28th to the 5th, we're looking at 366. There we go. We increased that a little bit. You see, it went from 365 to 366. Let me go from the 21st to the 28th. That is 317. Perfect. So this is now all updated. Last week, the ratio 1.07. Let's see what's going on this week. This is going to be from the 12th to the 19th. And new listings. Oh my goodness, you all. All right, last week we had 560. What about a year ago? Let's take a look at a year ago. A year ago, we had 521. So a year ago, this week, a year ago, we had 521. Last week, we had 560. What do y'all think? Let's get some guesses going here. Let's get some guesses going. What do y'all think? 370? 300? The number is 403. And that's a low number, you all. That's a very, very low number. 403 new listings. Keep that in mind that last year we had 521. Now the day has not ended. That number will increase between now and 11:59 p.m. tonight, but still that is a low number. Let's take a look at price increases. We're looking at, oh, interesting, 66 price increases. Okay, what's going to happen with that ratio? Let's look at price decreases. 930 price drops. That's a 93%. We now broke the 1, 2, 3, 4 week trend where the percentage of price decreases was dropping. We now have 93% price decrease. Let's take a look at back on the market. 150 back on the market. What is that percentage? That's a high percentage. 37% back on the market. That is, can that be the highest percentage? That is the highest percentage in a year. December 20th through the 27th, we had a 41% back on the market. So let me do this. Let me look at the average for the entire year. The average percentage back on the market for the entire year, we're looking at, oh, this is not displaying the average. Let's see if I can get this average to display. It's not showing me the average right now. I'll just run a little calculation there really quick later on. It is certainly 37% is way higher than average. Way, way higher than average. Let me see if I can just get that displayed right now. I'll just, because I did a full screen here instead of, so it's not showing the entire thing. Let me go ahead and just remove this full screen and let's take a look at the average. So now I remove full screen and now I can look at average. So the average going all the way back, it's not showing. That's okay. Way less than 37%. Let's look at active under contract. Violet said, could that be that the buyers aren't getting their financing? It's a good question, Violet. Right after we update this one page, let's take a look at the back on the market. Let's do a really simple export from Matrix, specifically on back on the market, to see how many of those are new construction. I am hearing from my banking sources, my credit union banking sources, that new construction properties are now facing appraisal issues. That a significant number of new construction properties that went under contract prior to June, and that number is an astronomically high number. We're talking about 40%. that 40% of the new construction properties that are under contract, that went under contract before June, are now not appraising, because that appraiser is now using comps from when? July, August, September, October, November, December. They're using 6-month comps to comp contracts that went under contract in January, February, March, April. Those properties are now getting ready to close. They're using newer comps because they have to use newer comps, and now they're not appraising. That's why builders are renegotiating contracts so much right now, because they realize that things are not appraising right now. And that's a huge issue. That's becoming more and more of an issue right now. So let's look at the data very carefully. We're going to look at active under contract, and we have 289 active under contract. And then pending. Let's take a look at pending. We have 192 pending. 0.87 ratio. The question is, so we've got 72 properties on the positive. The question is, what's going to happen in the next week? My guess, we're going to be over that 1 ratio. This time on Friday, when we pull up this data again on Friday, that number is going to be over 1. I'd say by Wednesday, that number is going to be over 1. So we're going to have a decrease in inventory this week. As promised, let's go take a look really quick at the back on the market. But before I do that, I want to get rid of this. Okay, perfect. There we go. So now it's no longer full screen. Perfect. Let me go ahead and just reduce this a little bit, and let's just get matrix going on this screen. And let's do this. Let's grab the back on the market. So I don't want lease. Let's go back, and we're going to do residential sale. Let me do the drop-down menu, residential sale. And we're going to take a look at past 7 days back on the market. Select everything, and we're going to export as a Excel spreadsheet. Let's go ahead and open this up and run a really quick pivot table to see how many of these back on the market are 2022, 2023 year built. Let's select everything, insert, really quick pivot table. And we are going to grab year built. And then we're going to grab the number of properties, and we're going to change this to count. And now let's sort this highest to lowest. And let's do percentage of grand total. Value as percentage of grand total. Let's make this a percentage. Perfect. And let's increase this. Oh, there you have it. And let's just add a column here so that we can see. This is going to be year built, total number. And then this is going to be percentage of grand total. Let's get rid of the blank. We don't need the blank. 31. So 26 a quarter. 1/4 of the properties that came back on the market over the past 7 days. Well, heck, if we add 2021, which are also new construction, we're looking at 33%. 1/3 of the back on the market properties are new construction. So Violet, I would say, if I had to guess, I would say certainly a percentage of those properties are ones where they're just not getting financing either through appraisal. Maybe the buyer no longer qualifies with the prevailing rates right now. Maybe the buyer's getting cold feet. I'd say half of them, the buyer's getting cold feet. I'd say the other half is a combination of the buyer no longer qualifying for the rate that they would get now. Combination of properties not appraising. That's certainly starting to happen. What are your thoughts? What do you think's going on? What do you all think's going on? Anyone wanting to unmute yourself or If you want to provide any input, let me know. What are your thoughts? Why do you think we're seeing so many back on the market? That's the question. Let's get some dialogue going here. We're not going to move forward until we get some dialogue. Why do you think we're seeing so many back on the market properties? Do you think it's rate? Do you think it's financing? Do you think it's appraisal? What are your thoughts?
I think it's the builders who don't want to negotiate and those properties are coming back on the market.
Okay, so there you have it, Melanie. That's a very good point. Thank you, Melanie Price. Builders are now saying, some of the builders, no, I don't care that you can get the same house, the same floor plan for 10% less. You put a contract and I'm going to hold you to this contract. I'm not going to lower the price. Certainly, some builders are doing that. 30%, by the way, 30% of builders are saying we're not renegotiating. 70% of the builders across the entire nation right now are renegotiating contracts, which means 30% are not. We've got a few right here. Seth said all of that plus people losing their jobs.
Hey,
We're
Dan,
seeing that. Yes, go for it, Melanie.
can we click on those, the 2022 and 2023 and see which builders those are? Maybe we can see a pattern.
I didn't export the builder's name, so I can certainly do that. You can hear the dogs barking right now. Something I don't have to deal with when I'm at the office. So we have the MLS area right here. So we've got Hutto, we've got Cedar Park, we've got Georgetown. Okay, I'm gonna have to mute. It's screaming. All right, so looks like it's certainly towards the northern part of town. Now we've got some HH. Let's take a look at HH right here. What is that? HH. So let's see, MLS area, HH. What part of HH? We've got that. Yeah, so that right there is South Austin. So that's towards the Kyle area, Driftwood, Hayes County. So there you have it. But I can certainly export the builder information and we can look at that also, Melanie. But there you have it, you all. Lots of new construction coming back on the market. I mean, 5 plus 31 plus 7, you're looking at 43 new construction. Michael said, clarify, if the builder is not willing to renegotiate, how does that put the property back on the market? Well, the buyer can refuse to purchase the property. Now, the buyer could very well be in default of contract and the builder could hold the buyer to that contract. But what happens if the buyer no longer qualifies? What happens if rates, the buyer didn't lock in their interest rate and the buyer simply cannot purchase the property? They cannot purchase the property. They don't qualify for that monthly payment. They don't qualify for that rate. So even if the builder is unwilling to lower the price, or sometimes, Michael, let's just say the builder is willing to lower the price, but still the buyer doesn't qualify. In that case, it's just going to come back on the market. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Or the buyer could say, sue me. Sue me. I don't care. And we've had buyers say that. Builder says, well, you're under contract and you're going to be in default of contract. And if you don't purchase this property, we're going to sue you. And the buyer says, I don't care. Sue me. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not buying this property. I'm not paying $100,000 more for this property when you are selling equal properties for that $100,000 less. Go to court. Let's see if you're going to win. Well, maybe the builder's bluffing. Maybe they're not bluffing, but they could certainly say that. We've got, I wonder if some of them had previously been leased. Well, these are going to be new construction. So they're not going to be ones that were previously leased. These are going to be new construction. I just saw your other message right there. Okay, let me go ahead and close this and let's keep on going. What I want to do now is I want to update the monthly. Let's look at the comparison really quick. So comparing this week with same week last year. So we've got December 12th through December 19th versus December 13th through December 20th. Number of new listings down 22%. Year over year, same week, number of new listings down 22%. Price increases down 107. Price decreases up 772. Now, here's a number, you all, that's just somewhat jaw dropping. There have been in 2022 41,933 more price drops than in 2021. Isn't that a shocking number? There have been 376 less price increases, but there have been 41,933 more price drops in 2022 than 2021. And then we've got back on the market. We've experienced 1,161 additional back on the market in 2022 versus 2021. This past week, 3 less. Now we get into the under contract data. So even though new listings are down 22.6%, look at this figure. Pendings for last week down 57%. Isn't that amazing? Down 57% pendings. Now, the previous week, pendings are down 31%. So even though new listings were down 17.2%, pendings were down 31%. It's the word that we've been using for a while, and now you're starting to hear this in the media. It's the demand destruction side of consumption. Purchasers, folks, have simply stopped spending. It's happening to retail. It's happening across the board. It's happening to real estate. A 57% drop in pendings year over year. Now, let's take a look at the monthly data. We're going to go to month. And let's update the monthly really quick. It's not going to take that long for us to do that. Let's go ahead and do that. And let me get the 6 county area again. We are looking at the entire month of December. And we are looking at new listings. New listings, residential. Let's make sure we only select residential. 1325. So 1325, new listings. Price increase, 285. 285 price increase. Price drop, 2517. 2517. That's 90%. 90% price drop. That doesn't mean 90% of the properties had a price drop. That means that out of all the price increases in price drop, 90% were price drops. 390 back on the market. 390. So that's a 29% back on the market. That is the highest monthly reading since March of 2020. Highest monthly reading since COVID hit us. Well, we've got 30% right there, May. So we've got 29, 31, and 30. So if we ignore COVID, so if we ignore that entire COVID area, pandemic era, then December 2018, we had 34% back on the market. So we're at 29% back on the market. Let's update active under contract. 763. Okay, 0.83%. Let's update pending. That's going to take us to 0.85%. 688. So there we have it, 0.85. It's exactly it. So far in December, we've had a higher ratio than November at 0.84. So we've been improving on that ratio since June. June, we had a low of 0.58. Right now, we're at 0.85, which means 264 more properties on the market when you balance out the incoming versus the outgoing. 264 on the positive side, which means inventory continues to increase, even though new listings are down dramatically. Closed, let's take a look at closed. We are at 1335, 1335. Let's look at withdrawn. We're at 517. And let's take a look at expired. We are at 170 expired. Let's look at the monthly comparison. It's hard to compare monthly quite yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare the actual month of November as opposed to December. And the reason why is because December is not, we just haven't finished December yet. So it's hard to compare, but we will compare November. Let me go ahead and just draw a big area around it so we can focus there. So we've got November 2020 versus November 2021, 561 less new listings. That's an 18.6% drop. But like we were talking earlier, look at that pending drop. So we have an 18.6% drop in new listings, but we've got a 33.6% drop in number of pending properties. So this information will be updated here shortly. We'll update this on the Insight in Statistics. Let me go ahead and save it. And let me open up Insight in Statistics and let's take a look at new listings. Active residential inventory. This information was updated earlier today. There are 10,062 active homes on the market right now. 10,062, 59.8% of those active listings have had a price drop. Number one price drop take a look at this. Buda is no longer the number one price drop as a percentage. It is now the number two price drop. Number one, Manor at 74.4. 74.4% of all active residential listings in Manor have had a price drop. Pflugerville, 72.5. Let's keep on going. These are the percentage of properties that are vacant, owner occupied, or tenant occupied. Kyle, number one, 84.1% of the 346 active listings in Kyle, 84.1% are vacant. But 73.2 are new construction. So out of the 291 vacant properties in Kyle, 213 are new construction. So that's that's a high ratio. So I'm not concerned about Kyle when it comes to that. I'm not concerned about Bastrop, Kyle, anything over 75% or close to 75%, anything over 70%. I'm not concerned about. Once you start getting under 70%, or under 50%, I get concerned about that. For example, let's take a look at Austin. 2,595 active homes on the market, 1,679 are vacant, and yet only 496 are new construction. 29.5% of the vacant properties are new construction. So someone is carrying the cost of those properties being vacant. Regular homeowners, not builders. So pretty amazing. Let's keep on going, and you can see the activity index in months of inventory. So we're right shy of 5 months of inventory across the entire 30-city area. A little bit under 30% activity index, right around 29% or so. Heading towards more of a cooler market. Want to remind you the activity index, pending divided by active plus pending. That's the activity index. That's called the absorption ratio or the hotness ratio. Very, very important for us to track. And then we've got the same information for zip codes. And we can see right here, this is the monthly change on inventory. So we have 1,183 less active homes today than we did exactly 1 month ago. So inventory is down 10.52% compared to a month ago. Let's take a look at the market cycle. Here's market cycle. I want to remind you that you can get all of this information online, our activity or insight in statistics page. I made a few changes to this over the weekend. We now have the total number. We have the average, and we've got the median. So we used to only have the average. I went ahead and added the median this weekend. And then the sold to list price ratio, I just have the summary here. And then what I did is I moved the full sold to list price ratio down here, this tab, sold to list price ratio. So now I've actually have the summary of the average, the median, and then the sold under, sold at, sold over. So this summary, I moved to a separate tab, a little bit easier for us to find the information now. But take a look at this. And this is a new chart that we have this week. Median sold price right now is 2.11% down year over year. So the gray line, 2022, the orange line, 2021, the blue line, 2020. And then 2023, we will have a new color line. But the question is, where is that line going to start and what's going to happen with that line? What line should we have for 2023? Which color line? Let's go with green. I'm going to go with green, dark green. So if we have a dark green line for 2023, we're at $465,000 median price. So where do we think it's going to start? Let's say it starts at 465. That's the big question. What's going to happen moving forward? Is it going to do this? Is it going to do this? Is it going to do this? Or is it going to do this? What do y'all think? First choice, second choice, third choice. What do y'all think is going to happen? I'm not going to hold you to it. That's the big question that everyone has. What's going to happen in 2023? Heck, will 2023 end under 2020 at 366? Will it end under 2021, 475? Rise very slowly. Okay, so Kevin is like, okay, well, maybe it'll end over 2022. So you think it's going to end over 2022, maybe right here when it's all said and done, start to finish? David, 2.5. So what do you mean by 2.5? What do you think? Between option 2 and 3. Okay, so David is saying, so if it starts here, maybe right here, you think it's going to end right around here, maybe around 425? You think it's going to do this? Christina said, according to your geologist chart, it should be up a little. So what Christina is referencing is the Hofstra University phases in a market bubble that's in residential price. And let's go take a look at this really quick. That is page number 16. Well, Christina's point is that we're right. Oh, we already went up. Yeah, already went up a little bit. Isn't it interesting? This is where we are right there. But what we don't know is how long does this take? Does this take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? How long does it take? Well, according to this takes a good 2 years if the chart is accurate. Now, past does not equal future, right? This is all of this, you all, it's just a big, huge coincidence. Big coincidence. That's all this is. All this is. So what's going to happen? Is it going to do one of these? I mean, not that this right here, I mean, it's just big coincidence. That's all it is. Don't trust any of that. That's the big question. What in the world is going to happen moving forward? We should get everyone to, just like the Fed does their dot plot, we should get everyone, last meeting of the year, we're going to get everyone to plot where we think things are going to be this time next year. And whoever wins is going to get a brand new silver dollar. Not a gold, a silver dollar. Poor man's gold. How does that sound? We should do that. Whoever gets closest to the December 2023 median sold price will get a silver dollar. How does that sound? Do y'all want to do that? No risk, all reward, no risk. You know what? We're going to do that. Last meeting of the year, we're going to do that. We're all going to guess what the median sold price for the Austin MLS is going to be, and whoever wins gets a nice little brand new little silver coin, including me. I'm in it. So be thinking about that. Be thinking over the next few days on what that number is going to come out. As of now, my guess is I'm at the $417,000. $417,000. That's where I'm at. As of now, I'm allowed to change my mind between now and when we actually officially lock in. I'm going to create a Google form and we're all going to guess, but I am right here. This is where I'm at. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to start right at about here and we're going to end right here. That's my guess. I'm right there with David. I'm in between the two. 417. That's going to be my guess. Now, you can see by looking at this resource that we're down already 11.47% on the average sold price, and we're down 15.5% on the median price. But time will tell. We're going to do that. We're going to wager. So this information is updated. Keep in mind, and then we also have all of the, Melanie said, can you please remind me which meetings we will have this week? Absolutely. I will most certainly remind you, Melanie Price, of the meetings that we're going to have this week. I shall remind you of that. I got to wait until the end, though. It's the only way to keep you all engaged. If I tell you now, you're just going to leave. So you're going to have to wait until the end. How does that sound? We have type of market city, type of market zip code, activity index city, activity index zip code. These are all updated. So take advantage of all of this information that you can use for your clients. Take advantage of all of this information. So Melanie Price, we're having the meeting today, of course. We're going to have the meeting on Tuesday and we're going to have the meeting on Wednesday. We are not having a meeting on the 23rd on Friday. We're not going to have that meeting, and we're not going to have a meeting on the 26th. So if you look at the meeting schedule, you can access this in the main drive. So if you go to the main Team Price meeting and training schedule, when you click there, you can see all of the dates that are blocked off. So we are not having a meeting on the 23rd. That's not going to happen. And we are not having a meeting on Monday. So Melanie is crying. Is there going to be another in-person meeting this year? No, there will not be another in-person meeting this year. We had an in-person meeting on Friday, the 16th. I'm going to put the recording for the meeting on Friday. And we are not having an in-person meeting on the 30th. So we have one in-person meeting per month, and that was the meeting on the 16th. Good question. So there you have it. You can still call Melanie. You can still call, call on the 25th if you want. We'll talk about the market. That works for me. Let's take a look really quick on the bond market and what's happening with mortgage-backed securities and what's happening with the 10-year yield. Let me go ahead and sign in. And then we'll also look at the economic calendar for this week and see what we have lined up for the economic calendar. I also received the rate sheet. Let me go ahead and pull up the rate sheet from earlier today. Robert sent me the rate sheet, and let's see what's going on with the rate sheet. Let me go ahead and just pull this up. And I'm telling you, Robert is absolutely amazing. I mean, he just sends me the rate sheet so faithfully and consistently. It is absolutely incredible. And I've been hearing amazing things about Robert. As a matter of fact, a team price agent pulled me off to the side and said, I am absolutely just blown away with the service that my clients are receiving. And whenever we come across a vendor, lender, so there we go, Sonia. And Sonia, I don't know if you're in a position to unmuting yourself, because whenever we find someone that is just on it and servicing our clients well, we just really need to brag on that person, because when we find someone that's not working well, we talk about it, right? Like, hey, don't use this person. They're not working well. Well, we've got to do the same thing. When we find someone and they are working well, we've got to be able to tell the entire team, hey, you can trust this person. So Sonia, if you're able to unmute yourself, let me know. If not, that's totally fine. Go for it. I noticed that you just unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I'm happy to brag about him. So I'm working with like 3 other lenders, and I thought I'm gonna give Robert a try because you keep talking about him, and I like to match my clients to the lender, just personality-wise sometimes. And I'm very, very impressed with his follow-up, not only with the client, but with me. So I'm involved. I know what's going on. I know he's trying to reach. So I contact my client. My client says something. I'm like, I don't think so. So I go back to Robert, and he is on top of things. So I'm looking forward to continue working with him as well. And I've told all my lenders, hey, I'm spreading the love here. So just bear with me. I'll be back with you. But clients working with a particular lender that I feel they're going to connect better is for me is the way to go. He's fantastic.
Love it. There you have it, you all. Thank you so much, Sonia. Super appreciate you sharing. And y'all, especially in this transitioning market that we're experiencing right now, and especially where, lenders right now, I mean, they're hungry. We're hungry. The lenders are hungry. We want to partner with someone who is not transactional, but is relational. We want to partner with someone who is in this for the long haul. They're not concerned about whether they're going to make it in the business or not. This is their profession. This is their career choice. They're going to make it, and they're in it for the client. And if this is the best time for the client to buy, they're going to tell the client that. And if for some reason it's just not the best time, they're going to tell their client that. We are fiduciary to our clients. We're not transactional agents. We're relational agents. We are here to do what's best for our clients. And we want to partner with inspectors, lenders, insurance agents, title companies that have that same mentality. Melanie said he found my buyers amazing programs, 5.75 interest rates on a down payment assistance program plus a grant. So there you have it, you all. So this is a rate from this morning, 6.375. This is fantastic news. Rates continue to drop. Week over week, we've had now 5 weeks in a row where rates have dropped. It's amazing that we were looking at 7.5%, 5.5, 6 weeks ago, and now we're at 6.375%. We're not noticing that translating in demand quite yet, and that's because prices are going down and buyers are saying, why in the world should I pull the trigger right now when prices are going down? We understand what's happening in the marketplace. We understand why buyers are making those decisions. Some of you all are making those decisions regarding your own purchase. So we cannot blame our clients. We just have to consistently and persistently stay in touch with our clients. And by the way, you all, we have to get new clients. If all of your clients right now are saying they have paused the home buying process and they're just going to wait things out, I oftentimes get asked the question, well, Dan, what do I do to convince them to move forward? I'm like, it'll be easier for you to get new clients while still staying in touch with those than for you to quote unquote convince them to move forward. Like, what does that even mean? Convince them to move forward. It's part of a larger dialogue. Maybe for that person, now is the right time for them to buy a property. Maybe it's not. Everyone has a unique set of needs and desires that we have to be mindful of. Here we can see the 10-year treasury up 11.3 basis points. Pretty dramatic increase. Sonia said, we do not convince anyone to buy a home. We facilitate and build a relationship. Learn this from you. So that's the most important thing. The clients, what is best for that client? And like I said, maybe right now is the best thing. Maybe it's not. We need to have a very forthright and a very honest conversation with each client to see what's best for them. Let's take a look at the investment calendar. What's going on this morning that caused the bond market to go up so much? Let me sign in so that you don't see information from any other place. Let me go ahead and just move this to my other screen so that I can sign in and you don't have to see all the information. Oh, this is what's going on. I was like, what's going on with the bond market? There you have it, you all. Let me increase this a little bit so you can see. We have the National Association of Home Builders, NAHB, and look at their forecast, 34, and look at the actual 31. And then we also had, 6-month T-bill came in at 4.55, 6-month bill auction, previous 4.63. Here's a little trivia. Which page on our website do we get to update now that the 6-month bill auction was released? Which page on our website do we update now that this information is released? Does anyone remember? Which page on our website do we update now that the 6-month T-bill auction was released? Does anyone know? Come on now. Y'all know. Drink some coffee. Remember, Michael said the National Market Index. Not quite. This is what we update. Let me show you.
Investor page.
The investor page, but what specific page within the investor page, Mr. Eric?
The 1%.
Very close, very close. The cap rate. Almost said the gross rate. Yeah, the cap rate. This, and thank you for unmuting yourself. This is what we update. We update the desired cap rate. That is what we update. When we update the desired cap rate, so we're going to change this from 4.708 to 4.550. When we change that from 4.708 to 4.550, what's going to happen to all of these numbers? The desired median price. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? It's going to go up. What's going to happen with the difference? Percentage difference and dollar difference. It's going to go down. That's what's going to happen when we update that. Okay, because we're comparing the return on investment, the cap rate for all 75 zip codes with the 6-month T-bill yield. That's what we're doing. That is the single best and really the only indicator of when investor money is going to come back into the Austin area. When the cap rate for zip codes is higher than the desired cap rate, which is the 6-month T-bill, when this cap rate is higher than this, investors will come back into the Austin area. When the cap rate that you get, when this cap rate right here is less, dramatically less than the 6-month T-bill, forget about it. Now you're going to have a very, very, very small percentage of investors coming to the Austin market, and it's going to be investors like a 1031 exchange, where if they don't buy something, they're going to get penalized. They're going to have to pay taxes. Or the not smart money. I'll say that much. The smart money, the institutional money, they're going to stay away from the Austin area as long as the cap rate for the zip code continues to be dramatically under the 6-month T-bill. That's why we track the 6-month T-bill all the time to see when is investor money coming back. Does that make sense? So let's take a look at the economic calendar right here. And we have the National Association of Home Builder Housing Market Index came in at 31. I don't know who in the world was forecasting 34. That was insane. We all could have told you that that was not going to be 34. Now, oh, wow, y'all, this is, that's low. That's very low. 31. I mean, it was 30, April of 2020. It was 30. It was 30 when everyone thought the world was going to end. It's at 31 right now. If we ignore April and May of 2020, and we pretty much have to ignore that. Let's just ignore that. Let's pretend like that didn't exist. We have to go all the way back to 2006, 2007-ish for us to get that same reading. What does that mean? What does the National Association of Home Builder Market Index, why is this so important? What does that mean? Right here. The data is compiled from a survey of around 900 home builders. A reading above 50 indicates a favorable outlook on home sales. Below indicates a negative outlook. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive. A lower should be taken as negative. That is a very low reading. That means that builders are not looking at the next 6 months to a year in a favorable outlook. Where that is good news for us and our clients, discounts with builders. Bottom line, negotiate the heck out of those new construction properties, discount with builders. Where that becomes tough is that a lot of buyers, bingo, Bertina said price drops. That's exactly it. A lot of buyers right now, they see what's happening unless they absolutely have to purchase something. They're on a deadline. They just received a notice to vacate from their lender or whatever the case might be. Unless they absolutely want to move or have to move, a significant number of buyers are just waiting this out. They're saying, let me just wait another 2 months. Let me wait another 3, 4, 5, 6 months. We're noticing more and more buyers extending their lease, but not for a full year. They're extending it for 3 months. They're extending it for 6 months. Stack your pipeline. I'll say that much. Stay in touch with your people. Market like you're in a recession. Stack your pipeline. Put as many people in your pipeline as possible. Keep on doing open houses. Keep on doing your Craigslist ads. Keep on updating people. Create as many MLS searches for people as you possibly can. Stack your pipeline as much as you possibly can. What's happening for the rest of the week? Let's take a look at this entire week. We have building permits out tomorrow. Housing starts. Same thing tomorrow. What's the difference between a permit and a start? How do they calculate permits and how do they calculate starts? When they say a housing start, y'all know what that means? It's when the form boards are set. That's considered a housing start. Yeah, break ground. They put the form boards, and they could, by the way, they could just put the form boards and then not do anything for 6 months, and that was considered a housing start. So it just started. Something started on the lot. That's what that means. Not every permit becomes a housing start, and not every housing start ends up being a sale. And here's the mortgage application. This is going to be forecast. We don't know the forecast. The previous was 3.2. I'm hoping it'll be higher than that. So we've got mortgage application, consumer confidence, existing home sales. And there we have it. On Thursday, we've got PCE, personal consumption expenditure. That is what the Fed looks at very carefully for their policy. And we've got GDP, gross domestic product. What is happening with the economy? Is the economy increasing? Is it staying the same? Is it contracting? So we've got GDP numbers. And then personal income, personal spending, some additional inflation numbers coming out on Friday. So this is a big week. This is a very big week for the market. Very volatile week for the market. And we can see how that has already started. Let's go back to mortgage-backed securities, and we can see right here a big run up, 11.2 basis point increase on the 10-year treasury. It's going to be, lenders are holding back. We're not noticing any reprices quite yet. This is a all or nothing week for the market. If PCE numbers come out better than expected, oh, there's the dog barking again. I'm going to mute myself until it stops. I think we've got like a delivery. Okay, there we go. There we go. This is going to be an all or nothing week for the market. If PCE numbers come out better than expected, then we can expect the bond market to react in a very positive fashion, and we can expect rates to go down. If for some reason PCE numbers come out worse than expected, and it shows that inflation is still escalating, then you can expect the bond market to react in a very, very negative way. And we can expect a pretty drastic increase in the yield. We've had a really good run on the 10-year treasury yield. We maxed out at 4.221%. And right now we're at 3.594%. So it's been a really good past, really since October 21st. But there you have it. It is 11:02 right now, you all, and I want to honor y'all's time. We do our Monday morning touch point for 1 hour. So thank you so very much for joining us. I want to remind you that we have our broker Q&A tomorrow at 10 a.m. Join us for broker Q&A tomorrow. If you have any questions that you want us to address, email them to me, text me the questions. You can join us and you can ask the question. Anything that's on your mind, join us for broker Q&A tomorrow at 10 a.m. Same Zoom link. And then on Wednesday, we have contract proficiency. We're going to go over, let's see right here. What day is Wednesday? Wednesday, what is it? The 21st? Wednesday? Wednesday is the 21st. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over in great detail paragraph 21 of the contract, in addition to a few other sections of the contract. And we are going to do a practice contract together on Wednesday. So join us Wednesday for contract proficiency. And like I mentioned earlier, we will not have a meeting on Friday, the 23rd. And we will not have a meeting on Monday, the day after Christmas. We will then have a meeting on the 27th, which is Tuesday. So meeting today, of course, the recording will be uploaded later on today. Meeting on Tuesday, broker Q&A, contract proficiency on the 21st. And then again, meeting on the 27th, meeting on the 28th. And then the last Friday meeting on the 30th, a very stats. And that's going to be the meeting, the Friday meeting on the 30th. Maybe we should do a live meeting on the 30th. What do y'all think, y'all? Do y'all want to do a live meeting on the 30th, or do you want to do it over Zoom? What do you all think? Live meeting or over Zoom?
I vote live.
Okay, we've got a few live, in person, Zoom. Okay, live Zoom, live
Live.
Zoom. Okay, we've got a few live, a few Zoom. It's about a 50-50 right here. Live, if you bring the dog, Chrissy is like, I got to, well, you can bring, so Chrissy is saying live. So Chrissy is saying in person. So she's like, I got a newborn in person. Oh, I should put up a poll. That's not a bad idea. Well, you know, we're going to do it. I thought when you said I've got a newborn that you were like, oh, great. This is a good excuse to get out of the house. That's what I thought. Have you been taking all of our parenting advice, Chrissy? Have you been, last time we gave you the single best parenting advice you could ever get? Have you been taking all of our parenting advice? Wise. That's wisdom right there. That is wisdom. Well, we'll see. We'll see. As of now, we're still going to stay with the schedule of doing it over Zoom because I communicated that it was going to be over Zoom, but we shall see. Well, if there are any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints, please send them to me